Courtney Cronin joining us from Arizona here on Purple Daily. All right, now Riley Reef to left guard. That seems like it is a realistic thing depending on the draft, which kind of, I mean, not that we didn't know this already, but it sort of makes it extremely obvious that their first round pick is going to be an offensive lineman, and it would be really stunning if it was anything else.
Yeah, I think that what Mike Zimmer said with the positional flexibility, that, moving Reese to guard, and potentially moving Brian O'Neill to left tackle, that's stuff that they've talked about, and it's stuff that, we've talked about it months now. And keeping those scenarios in the forefront and keeping their, flexibility for what they want to do, that's important. And I asked him, how do you feel about the state of the offensive line right now? And I think he does feel really good about it. It's just going to be a matter of, can you get guys to stay healthy? I think that's for Josh Klein, regardless of how he played last year, and kind of that, what he talked about with his own technique last week, and just that refreshing sense of vulnerability and self-awareness that, I've really not been great at times. And, wanting to get better. Those 46 starts, though, were a very big deal for Mike Zimmer, and knowing, all the injuries that the Vikings had on the offensive line in the last few years, that's going to be important. But I agree with you. If they don't go, sure. And he made a joke about drafting a corner, which, I want to make sure that whole quote is out there so the entire Viking fan base doesn't have a conniption about it. But it seems very obvious that they're going to be taking an offensive lineman at 18. I mean, wouldn't rule out, if a tackle did fall to 18, just given the depth of this defensive line group, sure, maybe best player available is where you go. But it's definitely something to keep your eye on going forward.
So, do you know what I'm doing right now, Courtney, in the studio? You got to guess?
You're simming.
I'm simming. I'm draft simming, and guess what?
Do we have simming? Do we have draft simming music? Can Manny get on that?
I'm sure that he can come up with something.
I need some music, and I need a NFL Films voice for the next draft sim.
All right, give me Manny with the first pick, and then I'll tell you what it is.
With the first pick, Matthew Coller selects.
Courtney, this is stunning. Jonah Williams dropped to me in the first round, and I took him.
Well, you and Mel Kiper. Because Mel's third or fourth mock draft came out this morning, and he had Jonah Williams going to the Vikings at 18. It makes complete sense, just given the circumstance of how good this defensive line group is, and honestly, how not deep this group of first and second round offensive linemen are. So if they can get him there, and they can potentially move him around, I mean, you have Josh Klein, you can, right now, I'd say slot him in at right guard. I don't think you need to move him to left guard if he's already had 46 starts or whatever it is at right guard, and then potentially move Jonah Williams. He played tackle at Alabama for 40 plus starts, but he's got the size that they like. From those from the guys in the interior, so maybe you can do that, and then you can keep Riley Reef at left tackle. I think the options are plentiful. If you are able to get a guy like Jonah Williams.
It really feels like Jonah Williams' draft stock has dropped a little bit, and maybe that's in part because he told everyone at the combine that he wants to be a left tackle. In his interviews on TV, he was like, no, I'll play anywhere, but you just weren't buying that. And some things came out that he wants to play left tackle, but I think that that's probably okay if you move him inside. Manny, can you say with the 50th pick? Because I'm at second round.
With the 50th pick, Matthew Coller, on behalf of the Vikings in his mock draft, selects.
I am taking Dexter Lawrence, the defensive tackle from Clemson. I am killing this draft sim, Courtney.
How did he fall to the second round?
I don't know, but it was either him or Deebo Samuel, the wide receiver. But I have to go with Dexter Lawrence here. By the way, if you want to, if people want to draft sim and send them to me, go to thedraftnetwork.com and where it says mock draft, and you can do draft sims. And we're probably going to do some sort of draft sim contest at some point.
I'm going to draft sim right now.
Really excited by that. Everyone needs to draft sim. So a defensive, I think a defensive tackle is important for the draft. Did